Hi, welcome to the Lawschooli.com explanation of PT34 Game 1. This is an unbalanced game where we either have more or less pieces than we need to fill the spots that we have here. And this ordering game, we've got a nice linear setup with 9 aisles that we're stocking, but the issue is we don't have 9 people to stock them. So we're going to have to use some of these players here twice. So let's dive into the setup here. We've got our 9 aisles all laid out, and then for the clerks, we know that we can use each of these max twice. So, you can never have 3 J's. 2 is the most you can have. And then when we dive into the more detailed rules, we see that Olga is just times 1. So we've just got 1 Olga right there. Kurt stocks aisle 2, so we just drop him right in there. Manny can't be in 1. Which turns out to work with another rule that we get. Jill can't do consecutive aisles, so we'll just express that as a not block. You can't ever see J and J consecutively. And then we know Kurt stocks the only aisle between the 2 that Manny stocks. That clearly can't be this one, right? Because Manny can't fit right there. So now we know that there's 2 Kurts and 2 Mannys. And we know that our Mannys are going to be surrounding a Kurt. Now we get another rule that Larissa is either 1 or 9. She's stocking either the beginning or the end aisle. And it's worth mentioning that that's a not both, right? You can't have her stocking both of those. Exactly 1. So we'll do a little exactly 1 here to remind us that this happens just once. Next we find out that Olga's aisle is numbered higher than both of Kurt's and lower than at least one of Larissa's. So if it's higher than both of Kurt's, it's going to have to be higher than this whole block mess here. So I'm just sticking the Olga right here and making a nice little chain, and then we need to have 1 Larissa up there in front of her. So conceivably, right, Larissa can be here, and then we'll see something like maybe an MKMOL up here. And that's going to really constrict the movement of Olga, and at least one of the Larissas are going to really have to be on the high side. It's worth noting that, the earliest you could ever get O is pretty late right here, right? And I debated a bit in this game, but I decided ultimately I did want to work with scenarios here because there's only 3 places that this MKM block can go. So let me draw that out. Okay, so here are the 3 possible places that I can put MKM. Note that if I try and get it any later than M in 7th, there's no room to put this 0 and L that have to go there. So we can drop that 0 and L in right here. And then in this situation, we know that J is going here because L can't be both in 1 and 9. And then we don't know anything about their placement, but we have LJ and LJ. So this bottom one is really filled in, and that's pretty great. We're feeling good about that. In these other 2, there's a lot less we can do. So what I like to do is just draw in the rest of my chain to remind me that those OLs are going in there. And this is really probably going to be where we're doing most of the work for this problem. One thing I also noticed at this point is that with these 5 pieces, and Olga even being just once, we definitely need to have 2 of each of these guys. So I might edit my list to reflect that. We're going to have 2 J's, we're going to have 2 K's, 2 M's, 2 L's, just 1 O. Alright, that didn't take too long, and I'm ready to attack the questions now. This is a good example of working with incomplete scenarios, where, yeah, they're not giving us the whole story, but it's going to help us picture what's going on. If we know which world we're in, we can take a look at one of these pictures, and it'll visually help us make the determination where the rest of the variables can go, based on any more information that the questions give us. So question 1 asks us, who can stock 2 consecutive aisles? We know Jill's out, right? Jill, that's just a straight up rule. K is definitely out because the other K is always stuck between those 2 Mannys. And then we know M is out. L we don't know about, right? L seems fine. O, we can't have 2 of them because there can't even be 2 of her to begin with. So we're stuck with C as the answer, L. You don't even have to check it. You can just work by elimination here. Question 2 asks us, which is a pair of clerks neither of whom could stock aisle 5? And it's pretty easy down here to just look at all our scenarios and see who can't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is spot 5 right here. 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. The only people who can stock that are either M or K. So if we don't see M or K in any of these answer choices, we know that's our answer. And the only one that has that is E, Larissa and Olga. This is an example of how writing the scenarios out, I think, helps us do some of these questions much more quickly. 3 asks us for a complete list of who can stock aisle 3. So we can look down at our scenario and see that M, L, and J are all good. We've already covered that. Whereas we know O is definitely out. So we're kicking out O. That gets rid of C and E. And we also know K can't go there because we don't see K. We've accounted for all our Ks down in this order, and none of them are in aisle 3. So that gets rid of D and A. We're left with B as the correct answer. For 4, we're looking for aisles that Manny can stock. And again, with our scenarios, it's really easy to just visually take a peek at that. He can be in 3, he can be in 4, he can be in 5, he can be in 6, and 7. So just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Easy peasy, right? If by this point you hadn't made scenarios, you're probably feeling like you have to make them anyways, just to help you with this problem. Okay, number 5 has Larissa separated by the maximum number of aisles, right? And the way we're going to want to do that is have her stuck in L right here and then L right here. And that's possible in 2 of these worlds. I'm using the green pen since we're writing right into things that I would rather keep empty normally. I'd be doing this work off somewhere else maybe. And now it's asking us what could be true in this situation. Jill stocks aisle 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's put Jill in right there. Then we put Jill here. OL. Yeah, everything looks fine, right? So that could be true. So that test case worked just perfect right there. And we're left with A as the correct answer. 6 has Jill stocking aisle 3, right? So that's going to be possible not in this world, right? That's out. But then we have Jill here and L here. That's possible. And then we can also have Jill right here. So we got to figure out what cannot be true given this situation. And it's pretty easy to just do the mental work here. Let me write down our answer choices. Okay, so we got to figure out which of these could not be true. J9, that looks like it's going to work just fine in this scenario right here. You put J here, L goes over here, O, L. Everything's fine there, so we got to get rid of that. What about K and 6? Yeah, we see that right down here already built in. So we got to get rid of that. It can be true. C, L stocks 4. Again, we see that down here, so it's got to be gone. M stocks 4. Yeah, that's possible in this order. So that's gone. We're left with O and 6 is the correct answer. For 7, we're supposing that Larissa stocks both end aisles and everything else stays the same. So I'm just going to pop L's into this. We know this world is out right here. So we pop our L in here, L in here. Otherwise, things are pretty simple. We just got to split up the J's here. We split up J, O, L. Here, J will be here. And then we don't know yet whether this is J, O, J, O. We don't know which one's in which. So what cannot be true in this situation? J stocks 3? No. O stocks 6? No. Neither of our scenarios has O and 6, so we know that that cannot be true. And that's our correct answer. Okay, certainly not the easiest scenario game, because even when you build the scenarios, there's still a lot of work to do. And that's a really, really advanced technique. So the first time I looked at this game, I didn't solve it this way, if I recall back. And then after a little bit more thought, I solved it this way. I think the new me would see to solve it this way right away. So hopefully you guys can get to the point where you're seeing that you can take advantage of this advanced idea of using kind of incomplete scenarios to attack the question. Hopefully from here you saw that it made life real easy. And one of the good situations to look for it is where you have a block that can only go a few places. And then after that, there's not going to be too many empty spots. You should be able to do the rest of the work quickly using your incomplete scenarios. All right, catch you on the next game.